So last night I had zero sleep, and at about 5 AM this morning I started working on this beat, and I was getting all reminiscent about the pre-COVID days when I could actually go out and work and play this kind of beat at 5 AM in the morning for a 5 AM crowd. And I'm telling you, at that time in the morning, this kind of beat goes down so well. But if we look at my project here, we can see there's not really a whole lot going on. I mean, I've got this brassy synth, which is just an arpeggiated thing going on. And then I've got a really long, slow bass line underpinned by that 808 sub, which you probably can't hear on YouTube. And just some really simple drums. But what really sets this beat on fire is that groove. And that brings us on to today's plugin, which is called
Skaka
by a company called
Klevgränd.
And if I take it out, you can hear the beat just doesn't work without it. Let me put it back in. Alright, let's get into it. So
Skaka
by
Klevgränd
is a sample-based drum sequencer which raises 4 questions. 1, why is this different from any other drum sequencer? 2, how does it sound? 3, is it user-friendly? And 4, is it something I'm ever going to use? Well, let's answer those questions. So firstly, yes, it's a drum sequencer, but it's a drum sequencer with a twist in that it only plays shaker samples. So why would you have a drum sequencer that only plays shaker samples? Well, let's dive into Cubase's sampler and I'll kind of explain why. So on the sampler here, you can see I've got a shaker sample loaded, and obviously I can just trigger that by playing the keys on my keyboard. But we can see, because of the nature of how a shaker sound sounds, it kind of starts off quietly and then raises up before it hits the transient. And when a shaker player is shaken to a beat, it's those transients that are hitting on the beat. So if we were to program this shaker in via MIDI, we'd have to put the MIDI notes ever so slightly before the beat for it to be exactly in time. Now, we could just put some kind of pre-delay on the MIDI channel, but when we want to start getting into more complex grooves, lining all that MIDI up is going to get harder and harder and harder. Now, that's the first thing about programming shakers. The second thing is, when a shaker player is shaking, they're shaking forwards and backwards, and you get an ever so slightly different hit with the shaker, with the forward and the backward motion. Now, we could try and compensate for that by playing different notes on the keyboard and therefore pitching the sample up and down, but you can hear that sounds quite unnatural. So the other thing we could do is just play different velocities, but again, that sounds a little bit robotic. So 90% of us electronic musicians would then probably go scrolling through some sample packs to try and find a top loop that's going to fit, but that can be time consuming, and chances are that top loop has already been used by 100 different producers already. So that's where this plugin comes in. So the plugin is very simple in how it looks and very simple in how it works. So you can see we have 12 different slots here, each of them with a different multi-sampled shaker on it. In each slot, we also have a pattern, which can be triggered by playing a MIDI note on the keyboard. So let me mute the MIDI I've already played in, and I'm going to solo the drum bus. And let's take a look at how these patterns work. So you just click on the box here to open up the patterns. And then we have 4 boxes, which are all self-explanatory: velocity, duration, pitch, and gain. And we just use our mouse to click these. If we want to add, we can add. Right now, we can add them wherever we want. Let me trigger that. Right now, I can just place them freely, as you can see, or we can have them snap to the grid. Or we can change the grid so we can see them snap. Let's go to 30 seconds. Or we can do something crazy like 20ths to get some irregular patterns. Let's play the drum beat and let's have a listen to that. We have a delay which can push the sequence back or forwards. We can change the global pitch of everything as opposed to on a per note basis, which we do up here, and the global duration. We have a humanized dial here, which we can push up and then press on the pencil here to see the parameters of which that will humanize. And we have a shuffle, which is where you get your groove from. We have fade in, fade out, filter, global pan, and reverb send, and then an overall gain. So up here we have a browser which gives us different presets for this drum pad. And we can hear what I was talking about before with the shaker going forwards and backwards. Skaka automatically recognizes the up and down beats, I guess you would call them. So let's have a quick listen to some of these presets along with the drum beat. So for me, it sounds like a lot of these sounds are more geared towards acoustic music, but the patterns are so funky you can really get them to fit into any genre you want. A little bit of processing on and yeah, jobs are good. And in terms of how user-friendly it is, well, I definitely didn't read any kind of user manual, and just from the explanation of how the plugin works that I gave you a minute or two ago, you'll definitely be able to load this up and away you go. It's that Swedish IKEA style efficiency. So in terms of how you would use it in your own productions, well, let's go back and have a listen to how I was using it. So I've got the shaker, which was a preset that I've just played about with. Then this calabash. I really like what the seeds thing's doing. Really cool. And then with this egg, you can see I'm just automating the pan. Give it a bit of stereo width. Let's solo it on its own. Yeah, it just fits so well. So right now,
Skaka.
it's going for $25. No idea how long that sale's going to go on for. Now, is this something that I'm going to use every day on every production? Probably not. Is this something that I'm going to use often though? Probably yes. So as always, thanks for watching. Big up to all the subscribers, old and new. And if you've not subscribed yet, why not? Let me know in the comment section below if this is a plugin you think you're going to use or whether you think you're just going to stick to your top loops. But anyway, that's it for now. This has been Tutorialism. I've been Craig Lopez. Peace.